Hello and welcome to the Dental Expert Advisory Series. My name is Ken Harlan with Ozarks Capital Funding, and today I have the pleasure of visiting with Bill Jackson, Vice President of Business Development with Planet DDS, a company that markets a wide array of software for the dental community. Bill, we're happy to have you today.
Thanks, and thanks for talking with me.
First, Bill, can you tell us a little bit about Planet DDS and what your role with the company is?
Yeah, Planet DDS is an internet technology company. We've been doing this for a number of years. The company's been around about 6, but the management team grew out of an internet services company in the dental arena 10, 15 years ago at this point when we first got together. My job with the company is, as you said, is business development, which includes sales and marketing. So I oversee any relationships with other companies, any business deals that are going on with other companies, as well as the sales and marketing effort within the company.
Has the growth been pretty steady even through the recession?
We've been growing quite rapidly, doing fairly well. We've got an aggressive growth cycle here, but we're doing, and in part the economy, the down economy is helping us a little bit because what we offer to dental offices is a way to get more efficient and actually save money and hopefully do a better job at what they're doing too at the same time. So what we have to offer has been received pretty well.
Well, that kind of leads me into the next question. What are some of the features of your Denticon dental practice management software?
Okay, yeah, Denticon is the name of our practice management software application, and it is web-based, and that's probably the primary feature. I usually don't like to talk about features a whole lot because features in software, they're almost a commodity now. We see that anybody that's a top-tier player has basically the same features because really there's only so many things you can do to run a dental office. Denticon runs in some of the most sophisticated multi-group practices in the country, and it runs in solo offices with where dentists work by themselves and everything in between. So it has to have, part of the entry to the game is it has to have all the features that the top tier players have. So I won't get into the features a whole lot, but suffice to say, I mean, we think they're better than anybody else's, but suffice to say it does what every practice management system that's going to be able to be sophisticated does, and that includes paperless office, and includes plugging into any kind of digital X-ray systems that are out there, and any number of other things that you have to plug into to play in this world. But again, like I say, what we like to talk about is everything around the software, and I think we'll probably talk about that before this discussion's over.
Why does Denticon work with a dental practice with multiple locations when most practice management software applications don't?
Yeah, good point. Most of them don't. It's really kind of a simple reason, and yet it seems to be fairly complicated to many purchasers of software out there. Most dental practice management software is written where the lowest common denominator is the office, simply put. So I put my first information in, and I put my name in as Dr. Bill Jackson, and all the information flows from that. If I have a second office, there's no other place to add that office if the lowest common denominator is office. So unless the database is built with the concept of an account that can have multiple offices, you can't run multiple offices. So you can't plug two single solo practice softwares together and expect that you're going to come up with a multi-location practice management system. And by that I mean that you have common databases. If a provider works in more than one office, you don't have to have that provider entered more than once. If a patient goes to more than one office, you don't have to have the patient entered more than once. You can run reports across the enterprise as opposed to just office by office and compiling them together. So there really is a difference between running a practice that is multiple locations and running a solo practice, and the software really has to back it up, and it has to have been devised from day one to be able to support multi-locations. And ours was, and really there's only a handful on the market that actually can do that.
I've heard you describe that the web makes practice management dimensional, and that software is only one of the dimensions. Can you explain that?
Yeah, exactly, and it is three-dimensional. One of the difficulties we have as a company is trying to explain to dentists the difference between what we are as a company and how web-based is different than traditional software. it's really easy to jump into the features by features comparison and say, well, can it do this? Can it do that? Can it do this? And like I said earlier, the price of entry is it's got to do what is required to run a sophisticated dental practice. But that's the one dimension. And by one dimension, I mean, the ability to keep a record straight, the ability to keep accounts receivable straight, the ability to compile the data within the office that you need. Some offices use 2% of a practice management system. Some might use 80% of a practice management system. But with traditional software, it really is landlocked. And that's what we mean by a single dimension. Everything that you need to run your practice out of that practice management system really has to be done on site. Sure, you can log in remotely on occasion, but that's cumbersome, and really only one person can do that. It's not scalable in a way that web-based is. And so we try to paint this picture of three-dimension because if you look at, again, just that y-axis, if you will, the up-down axis of just keeping your data straight and people accessing that data and using it to make the decisions they have to make around their job in any given day is one thing. But now add another axis to it, maybe the y-axis, if you will, and that can do just what you said before. So I go home, I can log into the practice management system, but it doesn't have to be just me. You can have staff members logging in. On the simplest basis, maybe an office manager doesn't show up one day because the weather's really bad. She might be able to get into the practice management system and call all the patients from home, and she and a few others that work for you can get into the practice management system and do that, and cancel without having to ever come into the office. They can cancel, but that's only the beginning of it. And if you use your imagination a little bit, you can really push it out farther, and that's kind of what we do, and I'll talk about that in a little bit too. But you can have people anywhere in the world, certainly anywhere in the country, doing things for your office that could have only been done in the office prior to web-based applications. So potentially you can have all your insurance stuff done by somebody maybe on the other side of the country. You can have patients being called to remind them of appointment verifications. Again, any place in the country, any place in the world for that matter, can be doing that with a web-based application. So it extends the capability out in that axis of that dimension in a way that just isn't really possible with traditional software. But now let's add another dimension to it, the y-axis again, if you will. And that access now allows other people to access it or other applications to access it and interface with it. So potentially somebody with a marketing company that is doing a marketing campaign for the office, we can interface with that marketing campaign and actually make appointments for an office, not just request or send an email to the office saying, go ahead and make an appointment. We can actually make that appointment. We can interface with a chat application that people can get online and chat with somebody 24/7 and make appointments or check on balances and on and on. Interfacing with dashboard types of graphic applications. And I can go on for a long time. And anybody that's familiar with Salesforce and the Salesforce apps model of where you plug in different applications into the business application and it seamlessly interfaces, that's what web-based brings that traditional software just doesn't bring. So again, when we talk about one dimension versus three dimensions, we are talking about the practice management system being considerably more than just the repository of data that somebody goes in and periodically analyzes. We're now talking about something that is two-way, that is interactive, that is real-time, and can be accessed by any number of people across the globe.
Be sure and tune in to part 2 of my interview with Bill Jackson of Planet DDS.